Welcome to the House on Fire podcast. Our aim is to light a fire for Jesus in the homes of those who listen through encouragement and equipping. Let's partner together to advance the gospel in the next generation. I am your host, Lucas Jackson, and I am passionate about seeing more people on fire for Jesus. When you listen to the House on Fire podcast, you'll hear from people you can rub shoulders with every week at Bethel Church, because all of our guests are from our church family. These are people striving to love God, love others, and to serve the world. Thanks for joining us, folks, on another episode, and we have Russ on again for a part 2. Russ, thanks for being here, sir.
It's good to be here, yes. I think.
Yes, sir. Well, it was fun last week just to be able to hear your story and, you sharing about your time in the military, just your family history and the kiddos that God brought into your guys' lives. And so we're going to kind of continue that conversation today. And so, you shared that God led you and your wife to adopt 4 children with special needs. It was 4, right?
We ended up with 4, yes.
So can you tell us how, just what was going on in your heart and mind that led you to do that? And you touched base on it a little bit, but why? Why would you even want to do that?
Well, we have always kind of thought we'd have a large family with several kids.
Is that because you guys grew up with larger families, or where did that thought come from?
Well, not really. I've got 4 siblings, and Marlene has 3. So
okay.
Those aren't large families.
Yeah.
Now, the generation before for her was very large.
Okay.
But my dad was one of just 2 siblings.
Okay.
But just kind of wanted kids.
Yeah. Yeah.
And when we had our second one, when we were in the Air Force at MacDill, that's at Tampa, Florida, because of complications, Marlene had to have immediate surgery, basically to save her life.
Yeah.
And so we weren't going to have any more of our own children. And actually, prior to our second child was Amanda, we'd had a miscarriage before, and we weren't planning to have any more children because of the miscarriages.
Yeah.
And Amanda was, God had other ideas. Surprise.
Yes. Yeah, for sure.
So anyway, we, within, basically Amanda got released from the hospital after about 2 weeks because she was taken early because of the complications Marlene had. And so she spent a couple of weeks in the neonatal intensive care unit.
Yeah.
And then we were getting ready to move. In fact, everything from our place was packed up. And a couple from the church, a retired Air Force guy in the church, they said, "Oh, so when are you leaving? We'll be waiting here about a week, and we're just going to move into a motel." "No, you're not. You're going to come live with us." "Well, that's really nice of you, but no, we insist you are going to come live with us."
Yeah.
So we actually moved in with them. Sherry had a good time. She's, at this point, she's about 6.5, 7, something like that. And they had an outdoor pool. This is Florida after all. Yeah. And then after that, we're on the road. Marlene and the girls, I bring them up to Fargo, so they are staying with either her folks here in Fargo or my folks in Jamestown, kind of bouncing back and forth.
Yeah.
Because she needs help with this baby.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And I'm go back to Florida because I have another couple weeks course. And anyway, we wanted more children. So in about 6 weeks, we're all in Alaska. We're at Anchorage.
Man, that is a huge turnaround for a lot of things going on in a short period of time.
It's military life, and it's particularly military life among fighter pilots.
Mm.
You meet some people who go someplace and they're at a base for 8, 10, 12 years.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen with fighter pilots.
Yeah.
You're there for 3, possibly 4, sometimes even shorter than that.
Yeah.
And chances are good that while your family's there, you're still going to be on the road at times.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Was it really common did you see a lot of other folks adopting kiddos, like just thinking, like, I don't know if that's always been not to say that's a popular thing, but just was it a common thing that took place in your guys' life?
I didn't know of anybody.
Okay.
We didn't know of anybody who had adopted kids.
Yeah.
And so when we decided that, okay, we got to Alaska and we got settled.
Yeah.
So we started checking. But anyway, when we got to Alaska, at this point, we have been Christians for less than a year.
Mm.
But gone to church all our lives. Okay, I need to tell you that when Marlene was in the hospital for a month before the birth of
Oh, wow.
our child, she had 8 roommates.
Whoa.
They were all Christians.
No way.
Okay. No. Oh yeah. Way. I came to Jesus first, and then it was kind of through the having a new child, and yeah. By the time Marlene got into the hospital, she was a brand new Christian, and then 8 Christian roommates, and the maid who came in was singing black spirituals the whole time she's cleaning up the room.
Man.
So, you start getting messages, and I told you last week about, in the training programs I was in, having people recommend I look up somebody in Alaska.
Yeah.
And then meeting that guy in my next class where there's only 4 people in the class, and one of them has come down from Alaska for the class.
Yeah, it's crazy.
No, at this point, I'm starting to think this is how it works.
Amen.
You start looking back over your life, and you see that all those decisions that you think you've made have sometimes been steered.
Yeah.
Probably usually been steered by God.
Yeah, absolutely.
So anyway, we got to Alaska, and we're looking at, okay, let's expand our family, and she calls an adoption agency, and they have the boy we adopted in Alaska is John. He's our first.
Yeah. And
he's in a foster care home, but he's finally released for adoption, and he's 6. He's released for adoption, and he is his diagnosis is he was microcephalic. That means his head didn't the bones in his head were fused. They didn't grow. So his brain didn't expand the way it should have.
Yeah, for sure.
So he has mental retardation.
Yeah.
Anyway, we got him home. We signed up. We got placed as foster care first.
Yeah.
While we're working on the adoption. And we adopted him, and he was we just had moved him out of the only home he had known for years.
Yeah.
And it didn't go well.
Oh, I'm sure.
So there were a lot of interesting times with him.
Yeah.
And I don't want to tell you what some of the things that didn't go well. Let's just say it had to do with potty training.
Okay. Yeah.
And then he was in school then in special needs. And to give you an idea, John also, we went to a meeting at the school with his teacher once.
Yeah.
And she said, we're working on John to learn how to zip up his coat. I looked over at him and said, John, zip up your coat. And he zipped it up and he made this face. Okay. Yeah. So he's milking everything he can for attention. And
oh, man.
And at one point, John isn't autistic, but they put him into a special needs class with autistic kids. And he started mimicking the issues they have.
Oh. Mm.
And we had a meeting with the school, and they said, okay, you have to put him in a different class. And basically what they said, long story short, we had him at home for a while.
Okay. Yeah.
And we've gotten flashcards, and we're trying to teach him letters, and Marlene's teaching him numbers and those kind of things before the school got their act together and put him back into a class that was a special needs class that wasn't going to make him worse, but would help make him better.
For sure. What was it like trusting God through all of this? I mean, this is the first kiddo that you've adopted or fostered and adopted. What was trusting God like in those first years of doing this?
If you believe that what you're doing is what God has in mind, I don't know how else to put it other than trusting God is just part of your.
Yeah.
You get up in the morning and
just living life.
You're just living life.
Yeah.
And it's when you become a Christian and you actually believe what God says in the Bible.
Yeah.
And you're actually reading it. It just shifts your whole worldview.
Yeah.
You start viewing everything from God's view.
Yeah.
As much as you can. Yeah. Anyway, so we were in Alaska for 3 years. So we had him for about 2.5 up there. And then I had been recalled to the Air Force, but we left the Air Force then for the second time, and we came back. We moved back down here to the Fargo area.
Yeah,
and I got a job. Between times in the Air Force, I had worked in a photo lab, and it had grown more, and I really didn't want to work there again. But we were having supper with the owner and his wife. And they were having problems at the lab. They asked me if I would come back, and it's okay.
Yeah.
Well, I went back, and I stayed there 28 years. In a couple of years, I was back. I also joined the Air Guard down here in Fargo.
Yeah.
So I tell people that for a lot of my adult life, I worked 2 full-time jobs.
Yes, sir. Oh, man. Well, what was it like? I'm sure there were times where you guys are walking through fears or unknowns or challenges along the way. How did you and your wife navigate those things?
We had Christian friends in Alaska who would help us with anything. And all the difference in the world. And one time, as a joke, Marlene called one of her dear friends and said that John had done something disgusting in the bathtub. I'll be right over to help you clean it. Oh, and then she had to. I'm sorry, Pat. I was just teasing you. He didn't do that.
Man, you find out real quick, who's got your back and who doesn't when things are really hard and difficult and they're willing to come sacrifice and do things like that?
Well, what was interesting was the squadron also helps out. Marlene was coming out for a doctor appointment with baby Amanda out to the base hospital, the base clinic. And as she was coming through the gate, the gate guard said, "Ma'am, you have a flat tire." "Yes, I know. I'm just driving over here to the hospital. It's just right around the corner." And she got there, and so she tried giving me a call to squadron. And they said, "I'm sorry, Russ is up flying.
Yeah.
What do you need?"
Yeah.
"I have a flat tire. I need him to come change it." "Okay, where are you at? What's the vehicle? We'll send someone over." So one of the other pilots or backseaters came over and took care of it.
Yeah.
It's the kind of thing that if someone was deployed, and we were always going out for, we were flying, or sometimes we were gone for a whole week to one of the forward operating bases in Alaska.
Yeah.
Where we'd live there for a week, basically in quarters between the big drive-through hangars we had for our jets, because we would scramble and go out and take pictures of our friends, the Soviets, in their bombers off our coast.
Yeah, yeah.
We had a really good, friendly relationship with them, actually. Nobody was shooting at anybody, so we were all happy.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But anyway, so, and we met a lot of people in the base chapel. I was surprised that we ended up going to the base chapel, but we found out that they were all of the chaplains were really good Christians. One exception was they had a Mormon chaplain on staff.
Yeah.
And all the installation chaplain would allow him to do would be to do potlucks. And so every Sunday he was downtown at the Mormon Steak.
Yeah. And for those that don't know, the military provides chaplains of a variety of faiths, right?
Yes.
On every base.
Yep.
So it's not just Christians Catholic, Christians, Mormons, Muslims, right?
I'm sure they have those now. Yes.
So and it's is it really a church on the base, or
we had a full-size church, and we had a chapel, a smaller size church, and that's where we attended that a couple times just for the experience. It was a black chaplain, and largely the black people in the church.
Okay. Yeah.
And if you haven't experienced their worship, it is amazing.
Yes, I would agree.
They are not quiet people when they're worshiping.
Yeah. Yeah. Amen.
The only reason we didn't go there more often was the preaching we had. I remember the first Sunday I sat in the chapel. We were in the back because we got this little baby.
Yeah.
And it was, okay, I'm not really good with names, but I can tell you, his was Chaplain Rhodes.
Okay.
And I didn't understand why he was looking at me in a church full of 300 or 400 people, seemed to be looking at me and preaching directly to me in the back row. There was a lot of preaching directly to me when you're a brand new Christian.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah, no, that's awesome. What an experience. Yeah, I've been able to be on a few bases and experience some of those kind of things, and with some ministry stuff, and it's really cool that the military offers those things for families, and especially when you're deployed and away from home. And
now, the reason we left the Air Force was I wasn't sure whether, I didn't know what God had in mind, whether I should stay in the Air Force or leave.
Yeah.
And so back then, the way it worked, unless I came in through ROTC, and you have what's called a reserve commission.
Okay.
So at this point, I'm a reserve captain. And normally what happens at some point during that time, the Air Force Military Personnel Center offers you removes you from the reserves and just puts you on, you're totally regular Air Force officer.
Yeah.
And I didn't know how else to do it. I don't really believe in doing fleeces that much, but I did a fleece. I said, Lord, if the regular commission doesn't come through, then we will leave the Air Force. So I'm coming up to the end of our time in Alaska, about 3 months out, and I get a call from the base headquarters. A young airman over there said, Captain Sahr, we don't see that you ever signed for your regular commission. Yeah, I never was contacted about it. That's what we thought. They sent it, it never arrived.
Oh, man. So
I explained to him that based on that not coming, I was explaining about what a fleece is in the Bible.
Yeah.
And said, because of that, I will be leaving the Air Force at my date of separation. He said, that's okay. I will take care of all of that.
Yeah, it's awesome.
And it was, again, I don't know if, I don't think I've ever done that again. I think it worked for Gideon fairly well, but I'm not sure that God works with a lot of fleeces.
That would be a good observation. There's only one example in the Bible or one story in the Bible where that takes place. So I wouldn't make a precedent for doing that often.
Remember, still a relatively young Christian at the point.
Yeah.
Now, it isn't just the Bible. I'm reading a lot of other books. A.W. Tozer.
Yeah.
I think John Piper, and I had several books. I had some books that I read and discarded. They were Harold Hill, How to Live Like a King's Kid. I read a couple of his, and then no, this isn't really how it works. And then his final book I got of his was, he said, yes, this really isn't how it really works either for me and totally in my life. Let me tell you what's also going on in my life. The problem is my young daughter had already read one or two of his books when I tossed them out. Because, these aren't, stick with the tried and true guys.
Yes, right? Sir. Yeah, no, absolutely. How would you say just your, time in the military and family and adopting and all those things, how did that stretch and shape your guys' relationship with the Lord? You became a new believer, even though you went to church your whole life. Like, there was a lot of things going on.
Well, you have to understand that basically I became a Christian into our 9th year of marriage. At that point, we really didn't have a very good marriage. I think we had both kind of decided that, well, we have a child. We're going to make this work as best we can. And in becoming a Christian, several months into becoming a Christian, I told Marlene, I said, you are now number 2 in my life. God is first, you're second, and whatever I have going on is last. Now, I would like to tell you that everything worked just great for the next 45 or 46 years.
Yeah.
I jokingly say that my wife got this short 2.5-foot 2x4, and every once in a while she'd beat me upside the head. One of the books that I got in Alaska. Now, since we would go on alert about every 6 weeks or so, we'd be gone for a week. I'd take books along.
I'm sure when you had downtime, you probably wasn't a whole lot to do. So read some books.
But anyway, one of them I got was an old book, an author named Evelyn Christensen. Lord Change Me. And I read that. In fact, it was out of print for many years. I found it a couple years ago again, and it had a study guide. So I bought it and gave it to Marlene to use, and she studied it, and then she used it for one of the women's Bible studies. The Lord Changed Me. What it's about is, it is not valid for me to pray that God would change Marlene. He's her concern. My only valid prayer is, Lord, change me.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, it's awesome.
And I read that, and it's okay. Yeah. It was kind of funny when it finally came time that I'm retiring from everything. Marlene is wondering, how's this going to work? Always having him around.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I'm intrigued, so married 9 years, become a believer, things change. And even just you saw the priority of, okay, God's going to be Lord of our lives and, not each other. What were some of the other things that changed in your guys' marriage, or the way that you just, went about living life? Because things are different. You're now a born again believer. And so what would be some of those other things that changed for you guys?
Well, the people we hung out with, it's kind of typical. This was back before there was a lot of talk about having relationships with non-Christians because you need to, how else are they going to know or learn or find Jesus? So we're hanging around mostly with Christians, not exclusively. I remember one Christmas we didn't live on base in Alaska. We lived downtown. We had a Christmas open house. And because of people we knew from the chapel, we had one of our neighbors in. We had a black family that lived next to us, and they were Seventh-day Adventists. We had them over to the open house, and we had the base commander. So I'm a captain, he's a bird colonel, and a base cook. So we enlisted guys. We had the whole gamut of ranks of people from the base came through the house. And for all of them, except for our neighbor, we'd met them through base chapel.
Yeah.
It was kind of unhandy, actually, knowing the base commander socially, because the last year I was there, he called me up to his office and he said, I'm going to assign you as the investigating officer on there'd been an issue on base, a lady enlisted person who'd been sexually harassed in a squadron. And long story, the squadron had taken good care of it. But now she felt that she was being, there was retribution. And so I had to go down and I had to interview everyone. I had to interview it up through the squadron commander.
Yeah.
And I had to explain to him, just so you know, I'm leaving the Air Force. I don't have an axe to grind here. All I'm doing is looking for the truth.
Yeah.
But anyway, before I started, he said, okay, go over to base admin and meet Major somebody or other. And so I went over and I said, base commander, colonel, anyway, I showed up and he was expecting me. He says, how did you get assigned to this? I said, I don't understand who normally assigns the investigating officer. He says, I do. Oh, I know the base commander socially. That's why he chose me. but it was interesting, and that's sometimes what happens if you know people.
Yeah.
And they know you. If they know how you live and how you think, you can get chosen for things that you really don't want to do.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, when you have character and they understand who you are and trust you, then
Okay, understand, all sin and fall short of the glory of God.
yeah.
That didn't change when I became a Christian.
Yes, sir.
There was a time, talked last week about Major Eddie King.
Mm.
Well, he moved up to a place in wing headquarters, and he was down inspecting us in the squadron, and I was the one who took care of the training boards in the squadron. And he looked through things and he said, "Okay, how did you guys accomplish this training?" Well, as you well know, 6 months out of the year, we can't get it done. So he says, "So you're pencil whipping it." And then he looks at me and he says, "Russ, who do you work for?" Spear through the chest.
Yeah.
Saying, "Who do you work for? Are you working for the Air Force? You working for the squadron, or are you working for God?"
Yeah.
And it was. I just actually turned and walked out because of the total conviction.
Yeah.
Of it. There was basically a saying in the Air Force among the pilots is fly what you can and log what you need. And I'm afraid that in probably all secular organizations, it's probably some of that goes on.
Yeah.
And it, yeah. Anyway, we left Alaska, moved down here to Fargo. We got into first of all, we moved in, lived for 3 months with friends of ours who had been in Alaska.
Yeah.
And moved down here, and he joined the Guard unit. What was funny was they had a house that they had bought up there, and they hadn't closed on it before they left. So they gave me power of attorney so I could go to the closing and take this is back in 1982, I think it was, get the $28,000 that he was that they were gonna get, and then put it into their account. When his folks found out that that's how they were, he's just going to take the money and be gone. No, he won't.
Yeah.
But anyway, so we lived with them for 3 months, and then we got into a house down here, and I was working at the film lab, and we heard ads on the radio for they needed homes for some foster kids and some older kids, whatever. So Marlene contacted local adoption agency, and the first thing they wanted, because we were looking for special needs, and the first thing they wanted was a large sum of money. And we didn't have a large sum of money. So then she contacted Catholic Family Services. Didn't matter that we weren't Catholic. When they found out what we wanted to do, they were so happy to talk to us. Yeah. And within about a month and a half, we went up to the hospital and looked at basically a newborn. He was a few weeks old at this point. Down's baby. Yeah. His folks were old. They had this child. She had gone to Kansas to have an abortion. The abortionists down there would do late term, and he was on vacations. So she ended up having the baby. So the baby was born in Jamestown, which is our hometown. and brought to Fargo to the neonatal intensive care unit.
Yeah.
And we brought him home at 6 weeks. Because we'd been foster parents in Alaska before we adopted John, they were able to do it, basically get the paperwork and do an emergency foster care, because they really wanted to get the baby home.
Well, there's all these, God's orchestrating all these things.
Yes, he is.
Along the whole way, and you're seeing and recognize these and those things, and praise God for that. Like, how are you understanding the character of God as you're living out and seeing the Lord orchestrate all of these things in your guys' life?
This is not a non sequitur. The first church we went to was, because our friends went to it, it was United Methodist Church up on the north side. They had a really good evangelical pastor who really wasn't welcome in the church for too long after that. But anyway, so my friend and I were just associate members, because I would not join that church. I don't want to talk about the churches that much. Okay. We're both on their council until somebody pointed out that you can't be an associate member, be on the council. We're at a men's meeting one more, and I'm talking with, I'm sitting next to a guy who's a big Christian leader in the community. And we're talking about something. He says, well, you don't believe that God still works in the affairs of nations, do you? Yes, I do.
That's quite the question to ask.
Well, it never occurred to me that I would get that from somebody who professes to be a Christian.
Yeah.
Still works in the affairs of... Yes, he does. In fact, yeah,
we see evidence of that in the scripture. I mean, God's orchestrating things in this world that we're a part of, and so this isn't hypothetical. This is real life stuff taking place.
Well, and he's not guessing about what's going to happen in the future, because God doesn't exist in time. He's outside of it. It's not that he knows the ends from the beginning. All he has to do is turn and look, and he sees the end.
Yeah.
I'm an engineer. I believe in science and all these kind of things. I don't have a problem with the concept of God knowing everything and being I've made the comment to somebody that right now, Jesus is walking down the streets of gold and enjoying my presence. I'm not there yet. I'm still stuck here. But the me of the future, he's already with. I know that's a weird concept.
No, I mean, it makes sense. You're a part of God's family. This is not your home. It's not our home. We're one day going to be physically with the Lord. I mean, I totally get what you're saying. Recognizing that, I mean, for many, this is as good as life's ever going to get as a non-believer, not following the Lord. And we know there's much more to hope for.
Years ago, there was a commercial on TV. It was for, I think it was Stroh's beer. Guys are sitting around the campfire, and they're, it just doesn't get any better than this. And I thought, that's the saddest thing I could possibly imagine.
Yes, sir.
That this is as good as it ever gets.
Yes, sir. Yeah. And what a limited and really an unbiblical view of what God calls us to be and to do in our lives. That would be the best it ever gets. Oh, how miserable that would be.
I don't think I can possibly ever fathom the greatness of God. But just for the little itty bit that I can kind of comprehend, it means that everything in this life is temporary anyway.
Yeah.
And the goal is not to have the best, finest, most abundant life here, and I mean from the standpoint of having all the money, have all the toys, have all the stuff. We have spent a fortune over the years on our kids.
Well, I'm sure. I can only imagine.
And thank you, Lord, that you have provided that we could do this.
Yeah.
That's where we operate from. Peter, he was our second one. He was the one that lived to 4.5. Over his life, he spent off and on 11 months in hospitals. And I knew what the outcome was going to be from the beginning, just didn't know when.
Yeah.
So we had a crib in our bedroom with the end tilted up to help him breathe. And he had a heart monitor on all the time. And because of when he was about 3 months old, he had his first heart surgery, and he ended up with a trach tube after that. And the trach tube could always plug. And I could be sleeping, and I could hear if it started plugging up, I could hear it, and I would wake up in the middle of the night, take care of it. Before things got bad enough that his heart monitor would go off.
Yeah.
Life was very trying, and strangely enough, I have never been so alive as the 4 years with him that he struggled for life.
Yeah.
Okay. He passed away, and at some point, God had told Marlene some way or other that she's going to have another son. Okay. The next child we got found us through friends of friends, and that was Jonas he's born in Haiti. And he spent his first 3 years in an orphanage in Haiti. Profound physical problems and mental issues and behavior issues because of it.
Yeah, for sure.
It was funny. We picked him up in February of '97. We went down to Sioux Falls, met them, did some paperwork, and brought him home. If I say he's from Haiti, assume that he's really dark complected. While we're driving home at night, unless he opened his mouth, we couldn't see him in the back seat, unless we could see the whites of his teeth.
Yeah,
it was, and he had some real behavior issues. What's really great was we got him up here, and before long we had him. He had surgery to fix his foot. He had a foot that was bent at 90 degrees. Orthopedic surgery here in town did a wonderful job with him, and once he was all healed, then he could walk with braces. He also has cerebral palsy, which causes legs to stiffen and everything. He is now 32 years old. He's in a group home in Wahpeton. But when he got to be about 14, he was in special needs classes in West Fargo, and we made sure we moved once, but we made sure we stayed in the West Fargo School District because their special needs programs. I assume it's still the same, but was awesome.
Well, praise God.
And but they still had behavior issues with him at school, and they had been recommending that we look at Ann Carlson's school for a couple of years, and we just couldn't possibly imagine that anybody would. Okay, we loved him. He'd already injured Marlene once, but so we decided we needed to look at Ann Carlson's school, so we went and did a tour, and then they came down here to visit to see him in class. And we moved him to Ann Carlson School when he was 14. And at 20, I think at 21, basically, you're out of there. You have to be placed someplace else.
Yeah.
And so we'd go. The first time we didn't go see him for about 6 weeks because that's what they recommended.
Yeah.
But then every couple of weeks we'd bring him home for the weekend. And
Did that cause you guys to maybe feel like
failure?
Yeah, like is that what was going through your mind?
Yep.
You know, like we adopted this kid from Haiti, loving on him, but things are hard, and now we're sending him away. Like,
yeah,
like that would have to be just so hard, like so hard.
And what fixed it is the first time we brought him home, he was happy to come home.
Yeah.
And when we took him back, he was happy to go back. And they loved him there. It was Ann Carlson is a magic place. And because they've got, they'll have more people if they need help at some point with him. There'll be someone else there, or they can call someone from one of the other buildings.
Yeah,
one of the other. And our second son was already when he turned 20, he moved in with Red River Human Services in called Svi Home.
Yeah.
And it was, no place is perfect, but it was really, really, really worked well for him. And so when it was time for Jonas to move out of Ann Carlson, they had an opening in Wahpeton with Red River Human Services.
Yeah.
And so we said, "Do you want to go look at it?" Nope. Take it, because these openings don't happen all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. We will take the opening.
Yeah.
And again, same thing. He's probably he's in a house they have staff that rotates in and out, the same staff usually.
Yeah.
And he's one of the most vocal of the people of the clients they have there. And they love him.
Yeah. Did your understanding of just family and love and compassion and care change over time? Just because every one of the circumstances are different, and a different way to care and love one of your kids. And it seems as if all of the situations were different for all of your kids.
It was. And the hardest part was our two girls, our first two natural children.
Yeah.
They ended up actually suffering.
Yeah.
Somewhat.
Yeah.
Because of this.
For sure.
And we were just so wrapped up and so busy with number 2 and number 3.
And when you say busy, I'm assuming just keeping them alive and keeping them well and keeping them just healthy, right?
Oh yeah.
I mean, just to live life. It's not like you're running around sporting events or, you know what I mean? It's just, we're talking, how do we care and keep them alive and healthy and well?
Jonas has been to more concerts than I have. Garth Brooks came to town. Marlene wanted to go to Garth Brooks. I'm in Panama. She goes, and I think Sherry or someone else went along.
Yeah.
And he's just having the time of his life.
Yeah.
When we were in Alaska, Marlene went to Don Francisco. I was either on alert, so I'm out at the forward operating base.
Yeah.
Air Force wives, pilots' wives, end up becoming, have to be somewhat independent.
Mm.
And for those who may be gone for a year remote, the husband's gone for a year remote.
Yeah.
And now it isn't just the husband. Sometimes it might be the wife who's gone for a year remote, and the dad's at home taking care of the family.
Yeah. Well, did you ever have thoughts of like, I can't believe I'm gone, I'm not home? I mean, because your career, it's not like, I mean, this is how it goes. It's not like you're going on hunting trips every weekend or whatever. You know what I mean? It's not like, but you're doing your job and you're gone. Was there ever any insecurities of like, I can't believe I'm doing this and then I'm not at home? Or even did your wife ever have some of those difficulties too?
The good news, Marlene has always had, in Alaska and here, people she could call.
Yeah.
Hasn't been as necessary here as it was initially in Alaska.
Okay.
With Peter, when we got him home, the two of us were not outside of the house together for the first 18 months. If she went to church, I stayed home. And then it was kind of amazing. We ended up over at Salem. And the first time we came to Salem, we'd come together, and we had Peter along, and Clayton and Emmy Lindgren. I don't know if you know who they are, but okay, he's pastor there, and she's his wife. She came up, and she saw Peter, and she says, I'd like to take him down to the Sunday school class. And we said, he said, I'm a nurse. I can take care of the trach tube.
That's a different story.
Yes. So I have a picture in my Bible at home of her holding him, and they have just traced his hand. Let's see. That's 38, whatever years. Yeah. Long time ago. But anyway, then the state of North Dakota also came up with a system, because there wasn't a respite care system in the state of North Dakota at the time. Yeah. And they came up with a system that they would pay an RN. Well, one of his nurses from the hospital signed up to be on the program. So she would come and take care of him, and then Marlene and I could go out together. Yeah.
And if you're listening and you're not sure what respite is, it's a big deal. Especially for your son who's trached. I can't go over and watch your son.
No.
Even though I would want to, but yet I wouldn't know what to do if something with the trach. And so you have to have training, and you got to know what you're doing to keep the young man alive. And so good-hearted folks that want to help can't just do this, you know?
His final year, he'd actually, we'd had some early intervention at home, but he was in a class at West Side School in West Fargo. And the first thing we did was we went in, and they had a para who was a nurse that we trained on the trach tube. And the way we trained it is we took it off and then showed how to put it back in. Now, and then this was back, we didn't have cell phones yet, but we had pagers. So we had a pager that they could page us if anything came up.
Yeah.
Well, one time at home, Peter got his trach tube out. He pulled it out. And Marlene called me, and I was working at the photo lab, which was about 5 minutes away. And I came home, and I spent 20 minutes. I was soaking wet by the time I was done because I had to be so delicate, putting the trach tube back. I had to lubricate it, keep him clear while I'm doing this. And it took me about 20 minutes to get the trach tube back in myself, and we knew how to do this.
Yeah.
But it was, like I said, the tension, I was just literally soaked from sweat.
I'm sure.
And doing all this without scaring Peter. Yes, respite care was a big deal. And said, then we got Jonas, and then I, shortly after that, reading some Christian magazine, and they had an ad in there from East European Children's Fund about a girl who needed to come to this country. They've already arranged for surgery down at Rochester. What they did was they took her skull apart, reshaped the bones, and put it back together.
Man.
And 2 days later, she's out of the hospital.
Man.
Okay. And with her, we learned the term reactive attachment disorder. She had been put in an orphanage in Ukraine, which was, turns out that in East European countries, it was kind of not out of the ordinary that if you couldn't afford children, they went into an orphanage.
Man.
So she had never bonded with anyone as a baby.
Oh, it's so sad.
Yeah, she's the first victim.
Man.
But and then in a place like Ukraine, if you really don't have any relatives helping you, it's hard to get a good job.
Man, I just can only imagine.
So, yeah, she was really tough to live with. I mentioned that before that, if we wanted to cut some meat, we went to the toolbox and took the padlock off and got the knife out.
Yeah.
Broke one of our cat's tails. We had to make sure that she was never alone with either John or Jonas.
Yeah.
And when about 5 years later, she wanted to go back to Ukraine for a visit, we made arrangements through the agency that brought her over.
Yeah.
And sent her back, only it was going to be permanent. Now, through them, we helped support her over there.
Yeah.
And we kept her there until Russia lined up at Ukraine's border. And then through another agency, I contacted them to take her to a consulate. It was, ride the train several miles to get to a U.S. consulate.
Yeah.
And because her passport was out of date, to renew her passport. And then paid to bring her back over here. So she's been back here for, I suppose, coming up on 3.5 years now, 4 years, something like that.
What has been maybe it's weird to ask this, the biggest surprise in your guys' journey of the kids that God brought into your family? What are some of the surprises that just like, I can't believe we're doing this, or this, I never thought that we'd be doing this, or maybe it was so normative by this point, you know?
There's nothing normative. Give you an idea. Said we went to Billings for the weekend for a funeral. Well, at home I have a phone system. I've got cordless phones all over the house. Well, they plug into there's a base for that. That base plugs into a cell phone base. So the two boys call every day, Monday through Friday.
Yeah.
Jonas calls Saturday and Sunday also. They only know that number.
Yeah.
So before we leave, I take the SIM card out of the cell phone base, stick it in a spare cell phone. So I walk around all day long with two cell phones, and I set a different ring on it. So I know when Jonas or John calls, and I take it out and I hand it to Marlene because they don't want to talk to me.
For sure.
No, they will only talk to me for about 10, 15 seconds.
Yeah.
And then but they want to talk. They want to talk with Mom.
Yeah. What a blessing.
But it's and we have a code with the staff in Wahpeton that because Jonas always wants us to come pick him up to go out to lunch or bring him home we'll bring him home for a few hours and then take him back.
Yeah.
Because basically he's too big for us to handle.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Incontinence.
Yeah, I could imagine. And
so then the code we have with them is, okay, in 2 weeks, if we use the word 2 weeks, they know that we haven't set a date yet.
Okay.
If we say 14 days, they can put that on the calendar because in 14 days, we're going to come pick them up. And the code is 2 weeks. They all know that. And we have meetings. We have annual meetings with each of them.
Yeah.
Annual paperwork through the court system for our guardianship.
Yeah.
And every 5 years, we go back into court, one here, one in Wahpeton, and one up here at Cass County, to renew the guardianship.
Wow.
It's that's just our normal life.
Yeah.
I've gotten to the place that I keep the old reports that I've filled out to make sure that, and what we have to do everything from financial reports, what kind of services they're getting, when is the last time they saw the doctor, psychiatrist, dentist. And normally what happens is as soon as I get the notice from the county that I have to that this is due, I contact the person at each agency who is going to gather the information I need to fill out, and they email it to me, and then I start doing the paperwork, and I get it all done. I have to sign it. Marlene has to sign it, and my oldest daughter, Sherry, who is also a co-guardian. And the reason she's co-guardian is because we're old.
Yeah. Yeah.
She's, we're hoping for one of two things. Either she outlives them both, or Jesus comes back and sounds the trumpets and we're all gone. We're all out of here.
Yes, sir.
Because both of those boys are like children. And I think the children go too. Yeah. I don't have anything but I looking forward to hearing trumpets.
Yes, sir. What was like discipleship like in your home? Even just most families have financial plans or education plans or health plans, those kinds of things. But, thinking spiritually about your family, like how did you guys navigate that? It had to have been hard.
You mean my immediate family?
Or just with your kids, just while, you and your wife in these stages of life and you bring in these kids in your home and every season's different. Every struggle is different. How did you guys keep training your kids up and to point them to the gospel?
The easiest one was our first daughter, who started reading when she was 3. Yeah. By the way, you have to be careful when your first kid really comes out good. God is going to pull a fast one on you.
That's how I feel. Our first one's like a saint.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So my boys are spicy.
Anyway, she'd be bored in church, so she would take out a pew Bible and just started reading.
Yeah.
She also started reading the books that I was getting. In Alaska, no. Marlene and I had all been baptized at some point in our lives.
Yeah.
In Alaska, the base chapel made arrangements for a Sunday afternoon to borrow a Baptist church downtown.
Yeah.
And Marlene and I and Sherry were baptized. Now, the youngest, my second daughter, we are still witnessing to her. I've explained to her, we had an intervention with her about a year ago over an issue. And I said, Marlene, you just stay out in the car and pray. And I said, if I understand this correct, and I don't claim to know everything, but should there be a rapture, and it says in heaven and on the new earth, and when that all transpires later, there'll be no more tears, no more sadness. And if I understand that correctly, that means that at some point, if you don't make it to heaven, I will have no memory of you. Because I don't see how I could possibly have a memory of you and not have sadness and tears.
Man, I'd never in my life ever thought of it that way. But yeah. At
some point we're going to be transformed in the twinkling of an eye.
Yeah.
Since God already knows the ends, my guess is that some memories are going to be gone. Because if they're still coming, that'd be okay.
Yeah.
And about a year ago, I bought some books from Max Lucado on what happens next. And basically, what it is, it's kind of the book for you missed the easy train. What happens next? Because my understanding of Revelation is there's a lot of people who come to Jesus who missed the rapture. I hate to put it this way, but should it happen on Sunday morning here at church, the pews aren't going to be empty.
Yes, sir.
When there are times I'm sitting in the back of the church and I'm just praying for the Holy Spirit to start to be touching people.
Yeah.
Change them, change their hearts.
Yeah.
Because you can spend every Sunday in church and hear everything, and if you don't move it from your head to your heart, if you don't finally trust Jesus, and trust is the big deal. These kids, trust is the big deal, because you don't know how anything is going to end.
Yeah.
People are getting phone calls every day telling them that somebody was in a car accident or don't delay.
Yeah. Amen to that.
Now, there's about every morning while we're having breakfast, we watch some YouTube praise music.
Yeah.
And then I finish with a video from, I don't know if you know who Alistair Begg is.
Oh, yes.
And it's the Man on the Middle Cross. Because what it's reminding me every time is, it is not on my shoulders that someone doesn't come to Jesus.
Yeah.
If I've talked to them, if I tell them, it isn't on me.
Yeah.
This is Jesus. Need to plant some seeds.
For sure.
And I'm hoping other people, I also pray for other people other than me to plant seeds, because sometimes relatives will take it better from friends than they will.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. If somebody were here and they're thinking about fostering or adoption, and specifically some kiddos who have some special needs, what would be some encouragement that you would give them? Because what's always fascinating to me, and I've probably said this before, those who have gone through foster and adoption, they share the hard things, but they focus more on the joy and the providence and the care of the Lord. But I've also noticed those who look into families who foster and adopt usually only talk about the suffering aspect of it. And it's interesting to me because I'm like, well, you have no idea what this is like. You've never done this, but yet you're going to emphasize that. But then families like yourself, there's a component where you don't shy away from the hard things.
No.
But you're talking like, there's more of a joy of like, well, this was hard, but this is what God did. And so how would you encourage somebody who is like, we think we may want to do what you and your wife have done?
The main thing is, if you start looking into it and you feel that God may actually be leading you, understand He doesn't download the software beforehand.
Yeah.
To help you work through this. What will happen is, now I know everyone who is a foster parent, everyone who's adopted doesn't have Jesus to lean on.
Yeah, for sure.
But lean on Jesus. And don't count on getting the strength you need ahead of time. And just keep in mind, life is short.
Yes, sir.
You may only have to do this for the next 40 years.
Praise God, you know.
Praise God.
Yeah. No, that's good. I appreciate that. I've talked to plenty of folks who have fostered adopt, and it's always blown me away that, again, they just focus on the joy of the Lord, the things that God did or has done or is doing or is yet to do even.
The joy of the Lord is our strength.
Yeah. Amen.
And I didn't make that up.
Yes, sir. Yeah. Well, Russ, I appreciate your time. I'm just grateful to hear your story and you and your wife and the things the Lord's done and the things that He's still doing. And so I appreciate your time very much, sir.
Thank you very much. It's happy to do it.
Thanks for joining us for this episode of the House on Fire podcast. Our prayer is that this podcast activates your home for Jesus. May the light of Christ burn bright through you and yours. Until next time.